What happens when a group of paranormal investigators start a conversation? You get Ghost to the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. Tales of the dead, the bizarre, and all things supernatural. Join us now as we discuss some spooky encounters. Ooh. Hi, and welcome back to Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. I'm Erin.
I'm Deborah.
Oh, and today we miss Linnea. We
Yes, we
miss
do.
Linnea. We're
Yes,
ready
we
for her to come
do.
back.
Yeah.
She's so busy. She's
It's
so busy, and
crazy busy.
Linnea, we miss you so much.
So bad.
Um, but today we are going to, again, we're recording this on a Sunday morning. um, Labor Day weekend. Whoop whoop, 3 days. Yes.
Yes.
But today we're going to share some spooky encounters with you. At least I hope they're spooky because I'll let you in on a little trick. I went to Reddit and I searched for paranormal experiences and I picked 4 stories. I didn't read them.
Oh,
You
wow.
you didn't read them. So
No,
we're going to experience them together
good.
and then we'll
We have
discuss
we
them.
have we have an in and out popping in and out co-host today.
Nice. We might have another one with
Yeah, she's so
Blanche.
needy this morning. She's so needy.
Also, don't forget to crank your AC up today before 3 o'clock. And
Ooh,
then crank that bad boy off.
good.
Are you on
I
Ori
started.
Electric?
No, I'm on Santee Cooper.
Oh,
But when we
oh,
got the letter, that's when I started.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I
It's
mean, for the last 2 months, we have been, don't you do anything from 3 to 6?
yeah. So it's on Santee Cooper too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm on Ori Electric and we got the letter. I was like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?"
Well, see, Ori
So,
Electric gets their energy from Santee Cooper.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I saw that. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like
Yeah.
this is
And
ridiculous."
then I think it is November 1st when it changes from 3 to 6 p.m. to 6 to 9 a.m.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I keep my heat low anyway. Like in the winter, I only put it at 67 or 68
Mm-hmm.
because I'd rather be chilly.
Absolutely.
But in the summertime, I mean, I keep it on 74, 75. But the big thing is on the weekends when my husband plays video games and, uh, from that time. So
Mm-hmm.
I told him last night, I said, we're sitting in the dark for 3 hours. He said, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, we got board games.
Well, it's the big energy draws like your wash machine, your dryer,
Yeah.
blow dryers, believe it or not,
Yeah. Oh,
um,
yeah.
vacuum cleaners that have to plug into the wall.
Yeah. Well, I don't do that anyway. I
Uh,
should, but I don't.
Mine runs on battery,
Yeah, no.
but yeah,
Mine
I mean
runs
it's
on.
stoves. If you have an electric stove,
Yeah. Yep. Nope. I don't power that bad boy up during the day anyway.
no,
So
it's
it's
too hot.
yeah.
It's
Girl,
which
I've been on a
my stove is gas, so
yeah.
it gets super duper hot when I cut
Yeah.
it on.
I've been on a kick lately though. I'm trying, so I'm part of this, like I'm doing this Mediterranean diet.
Mhm.
So I'm trying, my diet's very simple. Like, oh, and I officially hit the 50-pound mark this morning when I weighed.
Yay!
Yay! So, yeah, officially hit that 50-pound mark. So that was awesome. I mean, I'm sure that'll change once I eat breakfast and eat throughout the day, but
Yeah,
officially hit.
but I mean, either you weigh naked first thing in the morning after you use the bathroom,
Yeah.
or if you weigh in the afternoon, you deduct 5 pounds for food and water.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I officially hit that 50-pound mark this morning
That's
with
awesome. I'm so
with
proud of you.
with clothes on.
I am proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm proud of myself. Um, but so because my diet's so simple
Mm-hmm.
right now, it's no beef, no pork, no sugar. The only sugar that I get is from fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Um, like I can't have a bowl of Cheerios for breakfast anymore. Like it has to be oatmeal. Um, which I hate oatmeal. I
Wait a
absolutely
minute.
hate
Wait a
it.
minute. Wait a minute. What's the difference in eating oatmeal and eating Cheerios?
I have no idea.
I mean, as long as it's plain Cheerios,
Well, I was told that I could not eat Cheerios. I think because uh, it's not whole wheat.
you can get whole wheat Cheerios, can't you?
I don't know, but I eat oatmeal for breakfast every day,
I
and I
ain't
hate it.
eating wallpaper paste. Mm-mm.
Usually on the weekends, I'll eat like avocado toast or something,
I could do
which
that.
is which is delicious with a little bit of everything bagel seasoning. But so lately, I've been trying to find ways to like spice up my diet. And I've been on a kick lately. In the beginning of the week, for the past like 2 weeks, I'll make a big old bowl and put it in the refrigerator. But I'll make cucumber and tomato salad
Mm-hmm.
with the cucumber, an onion, tomatoes, and then I'll make it Mediterranean style and put some olives in there. Ooh, excuse me. Put some olives in there, some chickpeas, and some balsamic vinaigrette. Oh my God. It is so good. And I'll eat off that.
Chickpeas, that's what they make hummus out of, right?
Uh-huh. They're good.
No, they
And
ain't.
then
No, they ain't. Mm-mm.
they good.
I've tried
And
hummus. I don't like it. Mm-mm.
even garlic hummus.
At that texture,
Mm.
it's got a flat taste to it,
Yeah.
and that texture, yep. Mm-mm. No, I'll pass. You can have
Yeah.
mine.
Oh, and I'll put a thing of feta cheese in there.
I love feta cheese.
Oh my God, it's so good. I keep stocking feta cheese. In fact, right now I'm waiting on my grocery order, so it'll be here this afternoon. I did the Aldi's Instacart,
Yeah.
and so now I'm waiting for that to come in. I think around noon. I waited until Aldi's opened, and then I placed the order, and I'm like, yeah,
Now you can have chicken, can't you? Like
yeah,
roasted
yeah.
chicken, baked
So
chicken.
so I eat poultry and fish.
Okay, so with your salad there, you could probably like chop up some baked chicken or something
Oh yeah,
and add into it.
that'd be good.
That would be
I
good.
I think I eat a lot more fish than anything else. Like I eat a lot of salmon. I
Mhm.
found Aldi's had this really good salmon the other week. And it was uh a Mediterranean salmon, so it
Mhm.
had all the Mediterranean spices on it. Oh,
Hmm.
it was so good. My husband's like, "I'm good on that. You can eat that one."
Did you bake it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Baked it, and then I don't like the skin on. So like
Mm-mm.
Robert will eat it with the skin on, and I'm like, "No."
Ooh.
And so I usually take my skin from my fish
Mhm.
and give it to Blanche,
Yeah.
and she loves it.
Oh, I'm sure she does. I
Yeah.
don't like salmon skin.
Uh-uh.
Jeff wanted, I had a head of cabbage in the refrigerator. So the other
Mhm.
night he was like, well, won't you fix that head of cabbage for supper? And we'll have that. And he said something else. I can't remember what it was. But I came home and I cut up that head of cabbage and throwed it in a pot and steamed it. And I had some salmon in there, canned salmon.
Mhm.
I love salmons and rice. He
Yeah.
does. He don't care for it. He don't care for it, but he loves salmon patties.
Mm.
So we had steamed cabbage and fried salmon patties for supper.
Oh wow, that sounds good.
Yeah. He had one, I had one, the dogs had two apiece.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, that sounds real good. But yeah, it's an interesting journey, and I'm glad, glad that I'm dropping weight and all that, doing good with that.
We
But
got to figure out some other kind of diet around this house too, because his A1C's jumped back up.
yeah, I gotta go in a couple weeks get my cholesterol checked and stuff. So that'll be fun.
Mm.
But yeah, so now that y'all have had the food portion of the show, I do want to say in October, we will be having a special guest on our show. Um, we will be having a another paranormal team from Michigan on our show. Um, and so it'll be cool to chat with them. It'll be it's Lost Souls Paranormal out of Michigan. So I'm excited to chat with them and see what they're up to. They're working on some really cool things out there in Michigan. So I'm excited to chat with them and
That's very exciting.
make connections with other teams as well.
Yeah.
So um, so that'll be coming up in October, and then we as a team have some big stuff coming up in October. I'm going to give y'all a little preview just because if you're listening to the show, I feel like you get access, like special access, right? To some behind the scenes
VIP.
VIP. Uh, Shout out Miss Helen, the true VIP.
Yay!
Um, but in October, we're gonna do our, once a month live episodes from different locations. Well, in October, our live episode is gonna be like a radio show. We're gonna be live from Halloween, South Carolina, and you're going to have the opportunity, if you live local, come out and see us, ask us questions, interact with the show, tell your encounters on the show live. You'll be able to call our number and tell your stories that way. All about the interaction. So I'm excited about that. But we got some other stuff going on too in October that we can't really disclose at the moment. But it's going to be a busy month and a fun month.
That ceiling fan shadow, I'm sorry, y'all, makes you look like you're spinning around in your room. Thank you. It was making me sick.
Oh gosh. All right. So let's dive into some stories. Again, I chose at random some stories off of Reddit. I have not read them. So I'll read them. We'll read them together, and then we will discuss what we think about them. I chose four, but I might only get to two or three because some of them are long. So the first one is an experience from Littlest Nug. And this comes from the subreddit of ghost stories. This one's a long one. It says, my grandmother lives in a pre war apartment building in New York City. Built in 1918, the apartment has 10-foot ceilings with hardwood floors throughout. The exception of the exception being intricate tile work in the bathroom and kitchen. The apartment is a classic New York setup where when you open the front door, you walk into a long hallway with the various rooms on either side and the bathroom facing the front door. This apartment is incredibly haunted and has had many sightings from several family members, even guests, since my grandma moved in 1987. I'm going to share a few of my experiences in the house. I could fill a book with all of my encounters just in New York City alone, but these are the ones that impacted me the most. My oldest my oldest was one my oldest one was from when I was around 4 years old. The oldest memory, but it clung to me for years. My mom and I were at the time sleeping in the bedroom closest to the front door. My grandmother and uncle slept in the bedroom closest to the bathroom. I was woken up in the middle of the night to what appeared to be a little boy looking at me. I opened my mouth to scream, but he made the shh gesture with his finger, um, and ran out of the room. Terrified, I ran to my mom's bed, tried to wake her up, and she had yelled at me for waking her up and told me to go away. Still scared, I braced the dark and uh, ran across the long dark hallway into the bedroom where my grandma and uncle were. I crawled into my grandma's bed and told her I saw a little boy I didn't know in the house and was scared. She said I was dreaming and let me lay in the bed with her. And then, but then had gotten up to use the bathroom, and I begged her to let me go with her, and she agreed as long as I faced away. But she goes into the bathroom, leaves the door open, and I sit on the floor facing the front door and the darkness as she uses the bathroom. I am emerging from the living room and into the hallway. I see the boy again, a purplish light wandering around him. He faces me and then runs away into another room, the room I'd been sleeping in. I started to cry as my grandma finished up and tells me to calm down and go to sleep. Back in the room, laying in bed, my grandma wraps her arms around me, but it was hard for me to feel safe because I couldn't see him. I could see him in the corner watching me. In the morning, he was gone and I'd never seen him again, but multiple children in the family have seen him in the night. The second experience, also in childhood, in that room by the front door. I'd begun having an issue in the middle of the night. I'd be in bed asleep, but woken up with a sense of dread. Every single night, I'd be facing the wall. It was not sleep paralysis. I was fully capable of moving. However, I'd have this feeling in my gut I can only describe as instinct urging me not to turn around. I'd have this terrible feeling that if I were to look, to awake, or to face that way, something bad would happen. There'd be this very strong presence behind me, and every once in a while I could hear the floor creak. So I'd lay there as still as I could with my eyes shut tight, waiting for the moment I could fall asleep again. In the morning, I'd be laying normally and be fine. This happened every single night that I slept in that room. Sometimes I tried being clever by sleeping in another bed, but it would keep happening. To this day, if I visit my grandma, she has me sleep in there and it happens all over again. Um, Different members of the family have shared an experience with seeing the shadowy figures of a man and a woman in that room, always in the far off corner by the radiator. But they're often seen in the daytime, and at night you get this eerie feeling of being watched through the entire apartment. This feeling of having eyes on you in the is most severe in the bathroom. At least for the women in the family. You could be home completely and totally alone, decide to use a bathroom or shower, and feel like someone's in there with you. As a kid, I refused to bathe as long as I could get away with it because of this feeling. On occasion, usually when I'm washing my face or am otherwise unable to see, I feel a soft touch on my back. Personally, I've never seen an actual apparition in the bathroom, but others have. However, the few men in the family have never made complaints about the bathroom at all. As a kid, I'd often do late night anime binges. Anime wasn't popular then as it is now, so I'd be stuck watching Funimation upload entire episodes of Full Metal Alchemist on YouTube. It was horrible, but it got the job done. All summer long, I stayed up all night long watching. However, I refused to watch anything scary after 1 a.m. I had a feeling that something at this time was watching me, and even worse, I could feel its judgment. Um, if I got the feeling that I didn't like what I was watching, I'd change. If I got the feeling it didn't like what I was watching, I'd change it because the pressure in the room would become too immense. It would scare me. Part of the reason I watch for too long was because by the time I would realize how late it would be super dark, and the hallway has had so many apparitions and would have such a strong presence, I'd be too scared to walk to my bed, so I would simply endure it and head to bed whenever the sun crept out. Let's see. So this one's super long, so I'm going to end it there. But what do you think about this one so far and the different
Don't be screwing
experiences?
with me in the dark. Don't be messing with my sleep. Stare at me during the daytime. Stay out of the bathroom. Don't be screwing with me when it's dark. I
Right.
don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't yeah, don't mess with me when it's dark out. Don't touch me in my sleep.
No,
I don't
thank
like
you.
I don't like to be woken up, like
Thank you.
startled awake.
I don't either.
So, yeah, don't mess
That
with me
will make
that
me
no.
have a bad day
Yeah.
all the way around.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I don't like messing in the dark.
Mm-mm.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. This one is called Probably a Mimic from difficult fig 6836. Sounds interesting. Um, Back in the mid 90s, I was 14. I lived with my parents and my two older brothers. But my other oldest brother and his wife and toddler daughter, my niece, moved in with us for a short period of time. So there were 5 adults, 2 teens, and a toddler. My mom loved cooking and loved taking care of my niece even more. Her first grandchild, but she had a heart condition and other health problems, so carrying the little girl was taxing on her. So we would try not to leave her alone with the baby just in case. Also, since we were so many, we would buy groceries in large amounts, like full trunks and back seat. Um, could you imagine the gas or the grocery bill to that one
I was just sitting
today?
here thinking they could bring it to my house.
I mean, but like today, like I
Yeah.
just spent
Mm-mm.
$150 on groceries and only got like not even a full cart's worth.
Yeah.
Um, but like today, it would probably be like $5,000 just for a full trunk
Yeah.
and a full back seat. Um, so my newly moved in oldest brother and his wife both worked, and to the family's dismay, at times left the baby girl in my mom's care without supervision. We were privileged, so so our kind of big we were privileged, so our kind of big, I mean, gardens. Oh, okay, so the house is kind of big. That's what they meant. Gardens, fountains, palm trees, guest apartment, parking for 6 cars, and unfortunately, it was haunted. I mean, shoot, I'd live in a haunted house like that.
I ain't lying. That's the definition of privilege.
Right. One day I got home from school ready to drop off my book bag, change, and leave to be with my friends. As soon as I opened the door, the sound of a busy kitchen and the smell of cooking food filled the house. Mom was cooking, my baby niece was in the living room, and her baby walker, unattended, she didn't need it. She could walk, but the walker would limit her movements and access some spaces in the house. And limit her movements and access. Okay. I yelled, "Mom, I'm home." Mom yelled back, "That's good." I asked for my brothers and dad. Mom replied, "They went to buy groceries." I sighed. I would not be going out. I would be staying home and watching over my niece while mom cooked. So I picked her up, watched cartoons, got Cheerios for her, and gave her a box of juice. After longer than an hour, I know this because we watched more than two 30-minute cartoon shows. Um, we played chase. We'd run around the couch one way and reverse. I'd pretend she was too fast for me, and then suddenly my dad swung open the front door carrying grocery bags. I got to see my niece run into the bathroom, but was slightly distracted by my dad. Go outside and help your brothers bring in the groceries, he said. I replied, sure, but went into the bathroom for my niece. That's no place for a toddler. There's a toilet and a trash can, but she wasn't in there. She must have come out in that second that I was distracted by Dad. Um, I I looked for her, called her name, didn't see her. My brother walks in with more grocery bags. Uh-oh, door's open. I think to myself, maybe she walked out while I was looking for her in the living room. I walked outside, didn't see her in the front garden, not in the side garden, back patio, garage, or driveway. Perhaps back inside. She can't be that fast. She's a toddler. I thought as I started to panic, my brother yells, hey, come help us. Then I notice that they didn't park inside the property, but outside on the sidewalk. The gate is open. What if she got out and no one saw? Which is terrifying anyway. Good
Mm.
Lord. I thought, okay, this time to come clean and recruit help. I run out. I said, hey, have you seen the little niece? Um, Brother says, yeah, she's in the car. I see her sitting in her car seat. They must have seen her walk out and put her in a car seat to stay still while we bring in the groceries. I gotta come clean that it was I who was watching her. I didn't want them to blame mom, but I helped them with the groceries first. A little bit later was lunchtime. We sat down around the dining room table. The baby's in the high chair. I addressed the elephant in the room. Hey, I just want to say I'm sorry for letting the baby out. I was looking after her, but in a micro distraction, she went outside. When was this? Asked the sister-in-law. Today. Brother says, today? At what time? When you arrived from the market with the groceries. She walked outside and you sat her in her car seat. Brother says, she went outside by herself, like to the sidewalk? Everyone starts freaking out. I said, yeah, luckily you were outside to catch her, sit her in the car seat. Sister-in-law says, wait, today before we left the market? No, today when you got back from the market before that I was watching her. Sister-in-law says, no, she was with us. She was always in the seat. We took her to the market with us. We agreed we wouldn't leave her alone with your mom, so we didn't. The conversation continued and basically established a timeline. They all went to the market and took the niece with them. Mom stayed and cooked, and I got home, and they returned home still with the baby. I felt relieved that I felt relieved I wouldn't have confessed to losing my niece, but it was equally confused. But it was equally confused. What Everyone supported my sister-in-law's story, and it was not a prank. But even my mom said that when she was in the kitchen, and was not with the baby at all. If this is true that my niece was not home at the time, then who was I babysitting? Who drank the juice? Who ate the cereal? Who was the baby I was with? Perhaps I was just my imagination, or a weird mental episode due to whatever. But I'm 42 now, and if it was in my head, well, I never had an episode with visions like that ever, neither before or after that time. To this day, I still get a bit of the heebie jeebies when I think about this. An added note, through the years, my brothers have claimed to to have ghost activity in that house, from poltergeists to shadow whispers, noises, strangers in the house. If you'd like, they can share more stories. But nobody lives there anymore, but the spooky memories remain.
Don't know that I could handle a mimic.
No.
Don't know that I could handle that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Do you do you remember when we went to Black Market Minerals and I heard what I thought was Chris? Do you think that was a mimic or what we what we later discovered. Because to me it sounded like splitting image of Chris.
Yeah, yeah. It. I mean, it did.
Yeah.
It did. Um, I don't know. That one's hard to say.
Yeah. That one's a tough one because, after the fact, we know some things carried on later on in that
Hmm.
evening to the next day. So, yeah, it's yeah, I had never experienced that before, but where, cuz to me it sounded just like Chris and Chris is literally standing right behind me.
Yeah.
So, that was weird. But yeah, so those are a couple of stories. I think I'm going to save the other two for later on, or the other one for later on. But on a side note, uh so I just want to share how freaking cool it is. So like my abilities are getting stronger.
I'm so glad. So glad.
Like my abilities, y'all listening. So we've talked about it a couple of times on the show. But like everybody on the team has some special ability spiritually, one way or another. Like somebody can see stuff, hear stuff, feel stuff. Like it's just it everybody's got their different ability. I think all of ours are growing stronger. But girl, mine is crazy. Like it's just so cool. Like it feels like a superpower to me.
Hmm.
But in the past, what, 3 months? Well, in the past 2 weeks, I've had two successful like random readings with people. So it's the coolest thing for me.
I
But
know.
anyway,
I'm waiting for my turn.
you're waiting for your folks to come through?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of had somebody come through a couple months
I
ago,
did. I did.
which was crazy because that was like my first like solo. I'm like, I don't even know who this person is.
Yeah. I'm not even if there's a direct message. I'm just
Yeah.
curious to know who's around me,
Yeah.
who's
Well, I
popping
mean,
in and out.
like I'm trying to learn how to control it so I can like kind of put a fishing line out and be like, "Hey, is this person here for this person?"
Hmm.
But like right now it happens so random
Hmm.
that it can't be like I cannot control it and
Yeah.
it's the wildest thing. But I mean, I had a lady message us on the Ghost of the Coast page the other day. And I ended up, I mean, not thinking anything of it, thinking it's a possible lead for an investigation. Um, I ended up reading her, and like it was the craziest thing. Like had a full like 1 hour conversation with her about
Hmm.
her grandfather, and I mean it was the coolest thing. But I gotta figure out how to control it so that way if I
And
can,
that'll come in time. That'll
yeah,
come in time. That's just like learning anything new. You have to learn
yeah,
step by step, and the learning to control it is probably going to be the biggest and the last thing.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, right now it's so random and like I did have to set my boundaries and it's funny like what I thought about like so spirit can be like, "Hey, I'm knock knock, I'm here."
Right.
Some people might put in a door, like just
Hmm.
mentally picture a door. But
Hmm.
like for me, like my mind immediately went to I need an on-air sign like a radio so that they
I
can
know,
turn it
right?
so that they can turn it on when they come into the room. But I did set a boundary. I was like, do not come to me at work. I was like, you can come anytime before 8 and anytime after 5, but don't come to me before work or during
We
work.
just tried to jump on the bed and slipped.
Poor puppy. But but yeah, so I'm trying to learn it and trying to trust in what I hear and what I see. Um, and so it's I think as human beings we have that fear of rejection
Yeah.
and fear, like even like if I were to come to you and say, Deborah, so and so is here with you, like my human reaction would be like, oh, what if I fuck it up? What if I get it wrong? What if I
Hmm.
say the wrong name? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's always going to be a skeptic. You
yeah,
know, there's
yeah,
always going to be the chance that you get somebody that says, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. I don't believe in it.
yeah.
And I mean, just I'm wondering if the spirit themselves can hear. You know what I'm saying? If you're relaying a message to me and I'm saying something back, can they hear my responses?
I think they could, because if you think about it, if you look at it from a direction of if you look at it from a direction, Blanche, that's enough, no barking. If you look at it from investigating, I mean, we speak to spirit and they respond to us.
Right. I mean, I just didn't know if this would be like a, I don't know.
Well, and so to answer your question, the other night when I was speaking with one of our followers, um, uh, one of the things that her grandfather said, you know, don't worry, I'm always there and I hear you. Like that's one of the things that I wrote on
Hmm.
my, in the chat. So I mean, I think spirit does hear us, but I think too, like it can be, um, like for example, when I read you a couple months ago,
Hmm.
I wouldn't say this stuff out loud. Like as you were texting it to me,
Hmm.
I would just read
Hmm.
it, and then I would hear what they would say.
Hmm.
So, and I think there was a point where, you had said, well, tell her we love her, or we miss her. And she came back and said, I know you do. Like, I never read it out loud.
Yeah.
It's, oh, and like one of these things from the other night, the gentleman says, all right, now for the daughter. He said, now for my daughter, because I know that you're reading over her shoulder. Like, he said that directly to them. Like, he didn't say that,
Right.
like, they didn't say, like, the only thing she said was mom was sitting with her.
Hmm.
And, he said, now that, now he's like, I know you're reading over the shoulder, so this is for you. So yeah, I think spirit definitely, I think spirit can be multiple places at once, but also hear and communicate like multiple
Hmm.
places as well. It's interesting, but, it'll take some time, and I'll, grow it and learn how to control it and maintain it. But, we got to figure out when, we know where we're going for our September live, but we got to figure out what day we're doing it so we can pop it up there on the advertisements. But should we tell them where we're going or wait and let it be a surprise
For September,
for September?
tell them.
So in September, we don't know what day yet, but keep an eye on our social media because then we'll announce it, ahead of time. But we will be going to Conway's oldest cemetery to record our live September episode. Ooh.
We'll have to take a
So,
skitter sprayer with us.
heck yeah, we will. Just get the city of Conway truck to come out there with the shh, and we'll just bathe in it. But yeah, we'll be live sometime this month from Kingston Cemetery, uh, Conway's oldest cemetery. It's so old that there are graves from what 1700s, right? Yeah, 17 and 1800s. There's actually the cemetery itself was there before the church was.
The
And
original cemetery um, is under the church itself.
under the church itself. So we will be going live from there on location. Hopefully, we can get Linnea to join us that day.
Hopefully so.
Um, Linnea, we miss you, girl,
Miss you
but
bad.
so bad. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for now. And yeah, y'all have a good Labor Day and a good week this week. And until next time, y'all come back now, you hear?
Bye, y'all.
Bye.